I pronomi con l'infinito, pronouns with infinitive verbs. In this lesson, we will look at how to use both direct and indirect object pronouns with infinitive verbs. Remember that an infinitive verb is the verb in its unconjugated form, the verb with its are, ere, or ire ending still in place. You usually find infinitive verbs in sentences in Italian when you have two verbs in a row. For example, voglio mangiare un gelato. The first verb, volere, is conjugated in the io form, voglio. The second verb remains in the infinitive, mangiare. I want to eat an ice cream. Notice that in English we have a similar pattern, but our infinitive is formed with to eat, to want, to sleep, to go, etc. In the next sentence, voglio mangiarlo subito, I want to eat it now, notice that the direct object pronoun has been tacked on to the infinitive mangiare, but first the final e has dropped off. The same pattern can be followed for adding any direct or indirect object pronoun to an infinitive. In the example in our text in the cartoon, the airplane banner states, Gina, vuoi sposarmi? Here the final e of sposare has been dropped and the pronoun mi has been added. Let's use some of the exercises in the book to see how this works. On page 177a, the exercise instructions state, sostituite l'espressione in corsivo con il pronome appropriato. Before you can add a pronoun, you need to decide if you need a direct object pronoun or an indirect object pronoun. A few things to help you remember the difference. To discover the direct object of a sentence, ask the question, che cosa? For example, scrivo una lettera a Maria. Che cosa scrivo? Una lettera. I write a letter to Maria. What do I write? A letter. So letter is the direct object, lettera. Or, voglio comprare un regalo per Gianni. Che cosa voglio comprare? Un regalo. So regalo is the direct object pronoun. Again, ask the question, che cosa, in association with the main verb of the sentence to discover the direct object. For indirect object pronouns, remember that verbs of giving, like dare, prestare, comprare, regalare, and verbs of communication, like chiedere, dire, scrivere, ascoltare, etc., generally have indirect object pronouns. Also, indirect objects take the preposition a. I have included only the third-person singular and plural pronouns here, as the other forms are identical for both direct and indirect object pronouns, me, ti, ci, vi. So, let's start with exercise A. Number 1, incomincio a capire questa lingua. So you would ask yourself, capire, the verb capire, to understand. Che cosa incomincio a capire? What am I beginning to understand? Questa lingua. So when you ask yourself the question, che cosa, you find the direct object, questa lingua. And then you have to decide, is it singular, plural, masculine, feminine? Questa lingua is singular and feminine, and it's a direct object. So you would choose la. Incomincio a capirla. So the final e of capire drops off, leaving capir, and you add la. Number 2, abbiamo bisogno di parlare a Tonino. Here we have parlare, a verb of communication, so we know we have an indirect object. Also because we have the preposition a. So Tonino, we know he's a male, and it's singular, so we would choose gli. Abbiamo bisogno di parlargli. Number 3, preferisco scrivere a Luisa domani. Scrivere, verb of communication, and a, the preposition introducing Luisa, gives us a clue that it's an indirect object. So we would choose the feminine singular form to replace Luisa. Preferisco scriverle. So the E drops off of scrivere and we add lei. Preferisco scriverle. Number 4, ho deciso di invitare gli amici. Here we have che cosa invito? Invito gli amici. So we have a direct object. It's plural and it's masculine. So we go to the direct objects, masculine plural, li. Ho deciso di invitarli. Number 5, ho dimenticato di comprare le uova. Che cosa compro? Compro le uova. We have a direct object, le uova, in its plural, feminine. Ho dimenticato di comprarle. Di comprarle. The E drops off and le is tacked on to comprar. We'll do one more together. Quest'anno non posso fare molto regali ai miei amici. So here we have the preposition a, giving us a clue that it's an indirect object, and also a verb of giving, regalare. And we have the plural, masculine, miei amici. So, quest'anno non posso fargli molti regali. In pairs this week you will be completing exercise B, which is very similar on this same page. Let's do the first one together and then you can complete this exercise with your partner. So the instructions state: tua sorella ti domanda quando hai intenzione di fare alcune cose importanti. Fatevi a turni le seguenti domande. Telefonare a papà. The example. Domandi: quando pensi di telefonare a papà? Penso di telefonargli domani. So in number 1, comprare il telefonino, sabato. So you would use, just like the model, quando pensi di comprare il telefonino. So here, first thing you have to do is decide if you are dealing with a direct or an indirect object. We have the verb comprare and telefonino. Che cosa compri? Compro un telefonino. So we have a direct object. But penso di comprarlo sabato. It's lo because we have telefonino is a singular, masculine, direct object. And you can complete the rest of this exercise with your partner following this same pattern. So ask yourselves first if it's a direct or indirect object pronoun, then is it singular or masculine, feminine, singular or plural, masculine or feminine, and remember to drop the final E before adding the pronoun to the infinitive. I hope that you found this lesson useful. Ciao!